George of the jungle, strong as he can be.
LLPAs are coming in April, and I'm not talking about Lollapalooza either. Thanks for coming into the creditjungle.com. This is George Anderson. And Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac put out an announcement about a month ago that there's going to be some pricing adjustments to certain types of transactions. Namely, it's going to be second home purchases as well as what are called high balance conforming loan limits. So those high balance conforming loan limits, we've talked about that. There's only a select few counties within the entire United States that have that provision, because the nationwide limit for Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, as we talked about in a previous video, is $647,200, and then the highest counties, the highest limit that would go up to is $970,800, so just under $1 million. So for those counties that have that limit, and I've put a link where there's a map and you can find those counties to see if you're in one of them, that means that you're not going to be at a jumbo loan until you go above the 970. But for the counties, the majority of the United States, which has the 647,200 cap, there is no such thing as a high balance conforming loan limit in your county. You just go from the 647,200, you just go straight to jumbo. So for the counties that have an in-between, there's going to be a pricing adjustment. But the next one that's got a pretty significant pricing adjustment on it is second homes. And this one was a little bit of a surprise. And I don't think that second homes necessarily have the default rate that investment property or anything else does. People who can afford to buy a second home means you have to qualify with both mortgage payments. You can't use any rental income from the second home to help qualify. So normally you've got people that have got a little bit of a substantial income, at least enough to carry 2 house payments. But I'm just curious, and I don't know this for sure, this is just a suspicion on my part, that maybe a lot of people who bought second homes didn't really use them as second homes. It was maybe a less expensive way with less money down and a better interest rate to get a property that you intended to rent out. So they brought the adjustments more in line with investment property. But anyway, for loan to values, this is going to be, so for second homes, for 20%, 80% to 90% loan to value, okay, 90% is the minimum, 10% down is the minimum for a second home. But even if you have 20% down on a second home, there is a pricing adjustment that is going to be 4.125%. Now that is a pricing adjustment, which means that if you had a rate that was, say, 3.25% or 3% that was par, okay, for an owner-occupied primary residence, that if this is a second home, even with 20% down, it's going to cost you 4 1/8 points to be able to do that. Well, if you say, well, I don't want to pay the points, can we just add that into the interest rate? The answer is yes. Well, the pricing adjustment to be able to do that is going to be at least 0.875 to 1.0% on the rate, okay? So those rates are going to go up significantly for second home purchases. And then on the, sorry, I just wanted to make sure I had the correct LTV on here. For the high balance, okay, for 75% and up, there is a 1.0% pricing adjustment, which is going to be, it depends on the pricing on the given day, but it's going to at least be 1/4%, but maybe even 0.3% to the rate, okay? These are coming in April, so the loan has to be delivered to Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac by April to be able to do that. So you'd actually have to get closed on it probably conservatively, middle of March. You could probably squeeze it out a couple extra times, but these are some rates here. And again, Fannie Mae basically just does statistical reporting. They look at loans that have gone bad, or they look at loans that have gone into default, or maybe early payoff or early payment default, and they go and look at these statistics and they make those adjustments accordingly to basically cover some of their risk for doing these types of transactions. So if you've got something like that in mind, probably better to act sooner than later. So thanks for coming into thecreditjungle.com today. This is George Anderson. Remember, you can push button, get mortgage professional, and I'd love to talk with you about your circumstances. Have a great day.